All right, everybody, I am sitting here with one of the most sought-after corporate consultants in the country, best-selling author, Mastering Business Operations, 10 Tools to Get You in Control of Your Company and How to Implement Them. His name is Joerg Sieber.
Hi.
How's it going, Joerg?
Very good. How are you doing?
Awesome. All right, so what I wanted to talk with you about today was consulting. We know that consulting can be quite expensive, especially with an in-demand person like yourself. But you've created a solution to that. So can you share that solution with everybody?
That's very true. Yes, there's a solution to this. A lot of small business owners need help when it comes to running their business and running the operations in their company, and they can't afford it. Unfortunately, they need the help, but they can't afford it. It's a problem, right? And I ran into this as I started with Sieber Consulting, and all of a sudden I realized, why not make this information that business owners need in order to run their business available at a low cost through a book, through templates, and so on. And that's how actually Sieber Consulting came about.
So in your experience, when you first start consulting with small businesses, do you see that most of them really don't have a plan?
That's true. That's true. Unfortunately, most businesses are run day by day without any direction. And as they say, as we actually learned from Alice in Wonderland, when Alice was lost on the street and she came up to a fork, and at the fork of the road was a tree, and in the tree was a Cheshire cat, and Alice asked the Cheshire cat, which way should I go? And the Cheshire cat asked, well, where do you want to go? Alice's response was, I don't know. And then the answer of the cat was, well, then it doesn't matter, either way will get you there. And the same is true with every business, or a lot of businesses out there, I should say. They don't know where their business is going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, and simply because they don't have the time to spend and to devote to planning the future of their company. But it is so important to actually know where we're going to take our business. And that's unfortunately something a lot of business owners don't do these days.
We got the great Brian Tompkins here as well. Do you have a question for Joerg?
Yeah, so my biggest question is that business owners very often don't know when they need help. How does a business owner know when they need help, when they need to bring someone in to help right the ship, as they say?
Well, there's definitely a few answers to that question. The first question would be, if you're working 50 hours or more, 60 hours or more in your company, and you're really not going anywhere, or the business is stagnant, that's the first sign that you need some help, because you are simply required to run too many operations, too many things at the same time in your company to drive and to grow the business. So that's one sign. The other sign is, if you have employees and they keep asking you and bombarding you with questions, that's a sure sign that there's not enough structure and not enough operational structure in the business. At that point, you need an operations consultant.
What should I look for when I'm looking to hire a consultant?
Another very good question. I would say what you want to look for in a consultant is definitely someone with a lot of years experience. You need someone who has 10, 20 years of business experience, preferably not just in your industry. That's the mistake most business owners make when they hire a consultant. They hire someone with a specialty in their industry. They forget the value an outsider person can actually bring to their operations. An outsider person brings in knowledge and experience from different industry, from different technologies. An outsider's perspective is invaluable in any small business. And so look for an outsider's perspective, look for someone with experience in many industries over many years, and possibly look for someone with experience that's international and that has collected experience in different countries around the world.
This guy is going to save you a lot of money, allow you to spend time with your family by creating systems for your company. But one question I want to know, if you could be any superhero, who would you be?
All right, superhero. Well, I probably would have to go with Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man.
I like Spider-Man. This is a good guy. What do you think?
Yeah, he can be. I'm Superman. He can be Spider-Man.
So I guess that makes me Batman?
Yes, you're the guy with the gadgets. You're the one with the tool belt.
All right, so now we also want to talk about 2010's coming up, right? Big year. We know it's been a down economy. It's been tough on a lot of folks. And I want to get Joerg's top 5 tips, his 5 success tips for 2010. Let's get them right now.
All right, you're putting me on the spot here, huh? Okay, well, let's see. If you had to plan for 2010, I would definitely start tracking my sales. That means track your leads, track where your leads are coming from and the source for every lead. Also track your sales process. So number one, track your leads, the source of your leads. Track your leads along a sales process. Develop a sales process for all your leads and guide them through the sales process so you know at which step each lead is in the sales process. Develop very clear marketing strategies, between 5 and 10 marketing strategies for any business. That's the bare minimum I would recommend. What are you doing to generate your leads? That's the marketing strategies, exactly, and be as specific as you can. You want to do a direct mail campaign, do the direct mail campaign. You want to go on social media, which social media sources are you going to use? Boom Media is a good one, obviously.
Boom Media is very good.
What do we have now? 4. Number 5, I would say start thinking about an operations manual for your company. And you start by doing that in terms of an organizational chart. Develop an organizational chart of a company that is your business a year down the road. And then start developing job descriptions for each position on that organizational chart. So in other words, we're having something for today, which is the sales tracking and the lead tracking and the sales process. We're doing something for tomorrow, which is the organizational chart and the job descriptions.
All right, and systems, how important systems are. We've seen companies completely fail because they didn't have a system, and we've also seen companies that were lucky enough to explode, and then they failed again because they didn't have a system, correct?
That's very true, yes.
So if you get called to be on Oprah and you don't have a system, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, well, I have, I guess, an analogy to make here. Now, when schools are tight on money, they cut the music program, they cut their athletic programs. That's the first thing to go. Businesses, when business is tight, what do you see the biggest mistake for a business to cut out of their budget?
Cutting back on marketing. In any industry, when there's a recession, when there's a downturn in the industry, people make the mistake to cut back on marketing, whereas they should spend the same amount of money on marketing, but more targeted. And this goes back to what I just said about tracking your leads and developing marketing strategies. You simply need to know where your money is going and where your leads are coming from. If you track that through a system, you are able to spend the same amount of marketing and still generate enough business for your company to survive.
Well, most companies have had to evolve over 2008, 2009 because their budgets are being tighter, the market's changed. So how has Sieber Consulting evolved over the last 2 years?
Very good question, Brian. Actually, Sieber Consulting started out as a one-on-one consulting company for small businesses. As the recession hit, I found out that many small business owners can't afford my services, yet they needed them very much. So what I ended up doing is I put all my knowledge, not all my knowledge, but most of my knowledge into my book, Mastering Business Operations. And in this book, you will learn, I provide 10 tools that business owners need to implement in their companies to get control of their companies. And I also developed templates that are available to business owners for download on my website. And these low-cost alternatives to one-on-one consulting are very popular with small business owners at this point. So it provides a low-cost alternative to one-on-one consulting in small business.
Okay, so share with us where we can buy the book, where we can get your materials, your website.
Simply go to my website, www.joergsieber.com, and I think we're going to put this written on the screen as well, because my name is not the typical North American name, but again, that's www.joergsieber.com.
Look at that. We're bringing you some of the best professionals in the world. This is international, folks. This guy's going to make you money. Get time with your family. It's a win-win. All right, well, that's a lot of information. I want to thank Joerg for stopping by. Of course, Brian.
Thanks, Harrison.
Look at that right there. All right, well, that's it for Harrison, Joerg, Brian. Love it.